From Western New York's news leader, this is News 4 Buffalo Update with Bob Coop, Jackie Walker, Van Miller, and Don Paul.
Good evening. In the news tonight, another blow to the Western New York economy. 600 workers from the Dresser-Worthington plant in South Buffalo face unemployment tonight.
But at this hour, Buffalo homicide detectives are investigating the shooting death of an East Side man, and it happened just a little more than an hour ago on Woodland Avenue. And our Les Trent is at the scene now, and he has a live report. Les?
Rich, the call came out just before 10 o'clock this evening here at 383 Woodlawn Avenue. When Precinct 6 police and homicide detectives arrived here at the scene, they found the body of a 19-year-old black male lying in the street here. Their details are sketchy at the moment right now. Of course, any homicide is tragic, but it's even more tragic when a family member is involved, and that seems to be the case here. Police say that the cousin of the victim is the suspect at this point. There was a bottle found laying along the side of the road, but police do not know at this point whether or not that is related to the case at all. As we said, just to recap one second here, the shooting was here at 383 Woodlawn Avenue, and it appears that the victim and the suspect were cousins. Police are not releasing the name of the victim right now, or releasing the name of the suspect. The suspect has been taken into custody, though. We do know that at this point. We will, of course, stay here at the scene and bring you any more details as they become available. Back to you, Jackie.
All right, thank you, Les. And Buffalo police still haven't located the weapons used in a shootout on Maston Avenue today. Police say two men started shooting at each other after arguing over some money about 9 o'clock this morning. Police arrested 55-year-old Robert Harris and 51-year-old Lon Smith, both of Lemon Street, and charged them with felony assault. 25-year-old Samuel Rose of Eaton Street suffered a superficial chest wound when he was grazed by a bullet. He's in fair condition tonight at Millard Fillmore Hospital.
At 11.
No one investigates like News 4. It's a problem that is not going away anytime soon. Gangs are here in the Buffalo area, and law enforcement experts say they're growing by recruiting new members as young as 14 years old. Investigative reporter Luke Moretti hits the streets in tonight's special assignment.
Just drive through some of the inner cities. You'll see little Saddam Husseins right there.
They are as young as 14 years old.
They are killing themselves and they're killing other people.
They're on the street, searching for a purpose. It's a vicious cycle.
Weapons, drugs, violence, homicide.
They do not go to school. They feed off of you, your neighbor, and each other.
The streets right now is chaos. It's crazy right now.
Just how many gangs are operating on the streets of Buffalo right now?
I think a more realistic number may be 50. But in each one of these gangs, you might have anywhere from a half a dozen to 25 or 30 young adults who are actively engaged in some kind of criminal activity.
The bulk of the gang activity involves illegal drug sales, and according to law enforcement, some of the demand is coming from outside the city.
The customers are people that are coming in from different areas of the county, bringing either money or stolen property or guns retrieved in burglaries. They then bring those items for their drug habits to the city.
Pastor Darius Pridgeon, who advises the state on juvenile justice matters, calls it a national crisis.
Until it begins to hit those outer ring suburbs, and it'll never be considered a national crisis. That's when it's going to be considered. But it's going to be a lot late. Oh, it definitely has started.
So who are these gang members from the city? They're young kids from poor neighborhoods. Some come from broken homes. Some are without a positive role model. And that makes them easy prey for gangs looking to recruit.
Children look for people they can emulate. They look for leadership in their personal lives. And when that's lacking, they gravitate to people who give it to them for whatever reason.
Where do you think that those who come out of prison who cannot find a job go? They go to the poorest neighborhoods. Well, if they're in the poorest neighborhoods, that means they're going to influence the poorest children.
The FBI believes from time to time there's a presence of national gang members in the Buffalo area. One that's active, structured, and organized is the Latin Kings, a Chicago-based group formed in the 1940s. The gang's original intent was to overcome racism and prejudice, but that's changed in the last 60 years. Here in Buffalo, the Latin Kings began to surface within the last few years.
They get up every day, the members, to commit crimes in Western New York.
Unlike typical street gangs, the Latin Kings operate with a level of sophistication, even more so than the mafia, according to Buffalo FBI agent James Jansowitz.
They elect somebody to lead the gang. They have lower members who have specific levels of responsibility and jobs that they do. They hold regular meetings in Buffalo.
In April, 6 alleged leaders of the gang's Buffalo chapter were indicted on drug trafficking charges following a takedown by the FBI Safe Streets Task Force. Despite the effort, the Kings and other street gangs still wield influence in parts of the city.
Do the gangs have the upper hand right now?
I don't know if they have the upper hand. They certainly have tools at their disposal that are almost beyond law enforcement's control.
They're more organized to run the streets than any block club, than any church, than any community organization. They're there and they're organized.
So what's the lure for these kids to get involved? Just go to our all-new WIVB.com website and you'll see 2 former gang members talk about their experience. Coming up tomorrow night at 11, is there a way out? You bet, and we'll show you. Luke Moretti, News 4.
Don.
No one investigates like News 4. Last night we told you about Buffalo's growing gang problem, which police say is behind most of the violent crime we hear about. Tonight we hear from past gang members who say they're heading down a path to certain death. They talked to special investigative reporter Luke Moretti in tonight's special assignment.
If you be...
Juan Luis Acosta spent 5.5 years in prison.
I shot an FBI informant with his own gun.
That was 1994. Today, he's trying to show at-risk kids that a gangster life will only lead to jail or death.
When they ask me, who are you, show me your jacket, they want to know what is your lifestyle, where you come from, what are you about, how can you speak to me about issues that you have no comprehension on.
Acosta does comprehend. He's been there, did the crime, did the time. Now, with little funding and little support, he runs a pre-apprentice program for young adults. Instead of a life of crime, they learn to work and get paid for it. His success stories include former gang member Ray Moore, who's attending Erie Community College.
What was the wake-up call for you?
Just losing a lot of friends. It's just like I said, you get tired of it, man. Just waking up, stressing, looking over your shoulder every day. Walking out, got to carry a gun everywhere you go. It don't worth it no more.
LaQuint Gibson got out too. Once broke, homeless, and on the run, he now earns a real day's pay for a day's work.
It was rough, like sleeping in, like I said, sleeping in a drug house and everything like that. I gotta stay up because I never know when the police go kick the door.
Gibson credits Pastor Darius Pridgeon for helping him change his focus from gangs to God.
You really have to show them that life is not about instantaneous gain, but that's a mind change. I do it every Sunday.
Long after the smoke clears and police cars pull away, the impact on crime-ridden neighborhoods is quite evident.
I'm the councilman for the neighborhood. It's nice to meet you. Hey, Councilman Fontana.
Buffalo Common Council member Rich Fontana sees it in his district. There's the memorial left behind after an 18-year-old was gunned down on Eller Avenue.
I shot the gun at him and it got him one bullet in the heart.
Violence causes fear, and the fear is forcing many homeowners to leave for safer ground. Keystone Street is a prime example.
5% home ownership on the street.
5%. You have unsupervised teens on the street all hours of the night. You have drugs mixed into that equation, and you have illegal handguns. It's a killer cocktail, and that's what's happening on the streets of the city of Buffalo.
We have lived in this kind of society that says get it quick, get it fast, and this kid can't get it the same way another kid does, so he gets it whatever way he can. But that's lack of hope.
That is a me concept. That needs to be changed. We need to focus on the we concept because we live together.
And just because kids become gang members at a young age doesn't mean they're doomed to lead a life of violence. As we just heard, there is a way out. Unfortunately, some never get the chance. They end up dead or in jail.
Luke Moretti, News 4.